Hello and welcome to Rudy's Retro Intel. Thanks for coming. On this episode, we'll be adding a reset switch to a Commodore PET 4032. This was done already by Adrian Black on Adrian's Digital Basement, so we want to recreate the same thing and explain how I'm doing this. So let's peek inside and poke around. Okay, now we have the PET opened up here. We can see the layout of the board. The front of the PET is this way where the keyboard sits, and that is the back. So what we're looking for is the 555 timer, and it is really right back here. It's just a 8-pin chip. It's at the very back. I'll do a close-up in a minute. And what I want to do is run wire to pin 2 from there, and then pick a spot closer to the front where the ground would be, and then that would attach the wire for the reset button on the side. So let's take a look closer and go from there. Okay, here we have the schematic for the PET, and we are looking for or ensuring that this schematic is for the universal PET, which is the one I have in my 4032 Commodore PET. So if your board is different, you just look on the board. I'll show you that shortly on where to find the type of board you have in it. You'll have to pull up a different schematic, but I believe it's the same for the other types of boards. So what we're looking at is over here at the 555 timer, and we are going to be attaching a wire to pin 2. From pin 2, we'll be pulling a wire up to a 1K resistor, and then on the other end to a switch, and then from there to ground. Now I've drawn ground on this schematic over here, just so you can understand that this other wire goes to ground, but it can be anywhere on the board, and we will look for other places on the board where to attach that wire coming up. I have found 2 additional schematics for the PET. This one is for the dynamic PET board, and again here you can see it's the 555 timer. We're using pin 2, and it's noted here as the power up reset for the board. The next diagram or schematic also has the 555 timer, and it is missing the label for pin 2, which would be right here, and this is the circuitry which is common to all PETs. Okay, I've set the camera up so we can zoom in and get a better look of where this IC is located. So if we pan in, it's at the very back of the board, and it's right there. We go, a bit of light, a bit more light. There we go. So this is the 555 timer, and we are looking at connecting to pin 2, which is the second pin right here. Now the way to determine on this chip or any other chips where pin 1 and 2 etc. is, I'll pick this one here because it's better for viewing. So this chip has a little notch. Let's maybe can go in a bit more. Alright, so this chip here has a notch. That's the front of the chip, and that would be the back of the chip. From the notch, so if you're looking with the notch facing upwards, it's on your left. So that means in this case, this first pin here is pin 1. Wait, this is pin 1, and that's pin 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then to go to the next side would be pin 8, would be right across. It would be pin 8, and then 9, 10, 11, 12, etc. So from the left, it's pin 1. You work your way down, and then straight across and work your way up. So that's how you can tell which is pin 2. Now in this case, pin 2 is right there. So the notch is here. That's pin 1, and this is pin 2. So this is exactly where we'll be attaching the wire for the reset button. Now the next step we're going to do is look for a ground, and we can put our meter, which is basically in tone mode. This is a ground here, so we can find a ground somewhere on the board, on a resistor maybe. Oh look, there's a wire here. That's just a it looks like it's just a patch of some kind. We can find on a capacitor too somewhere. So I found a spot right here. They can do it there. This is the front of the board. So I like this pin right here. So I'm going to put the ground wire here for the switch, and then we're going to run it off to the side, and then from there to the 555 timer on pin 2. So let's put that in and go from there. Okay, now I'm going to take my red lead and pin it to pin 2. There we go. Now it's on pin 2, and then we will zoom up and look for a ground, which we said would be here. So let's hook that side up. There we go. And one more test to make sure that is ground. We're going to get our multimeter out and do a test. So again, one negative on the can, and yeah, so that's ground. So we are ready to go to the next step, which is placing the button on the side. So let's do that now. So on the side here, we have an existing hole placed on the case. So I'm going to use that. And what I've done is I've taken this momentary switch, and because it's small, it won't fit right in the, it'll fit, it's too big. Sorry, the hole is too big. The switch will just come right through. So what I've done is I found a washer, put one on one end, a big washer, put it on the other end, throw another big washer on top. Oh, you can't see that. So let me take in the second washer, put on top to act like a wedge. Then I will put on the nut and then tighten that up. So basically the two washers are acting like a sandwich with the case, so it holds it in place. You can use crazy glue or a hot glue gun or something else to hold it in place. I figure this is good. It's nice and solid. It's not going to come loose by pressing the button. You're not going to, eventually with hot glue or some other type of glue, it might just pop off. This way it's nice and solid. It's not going anywhere, and we haven't modified the case. So now let's power it on and see how this works. Okay, now is the moment of truth. Since the reset switch is put in, let's close up the PET and power it on and see if it works. Now it's booting up. It'll take a moment as the screen powers up. There we go. We can see, hopefully it's coming out clear on the video. Let's just type something in here. Okay, so we have something on the screen, just garbage with some errors. Let's hit the reset button on the side and see if it resets the machine. And there we go. It's up and running. Let's do a list. Yep, there's nothing in memory, so this machine has definitely reset. Well, there we go. The reset switch is installed. The 4032 PET is working properly. And thank you to Adrian Black from Adrian's Digital Basement for providing video on how to do this. So now my machine also has a reset switch and will come in handy when playing games and just want to reset the computer. So hope you enjoyed it. Please give a thumbs up if you did, leave some comments, and thanks again for watching and all my current subscribers. I really appreciate you watching the channel. Thanks, and take care.